In the next few minutes, we're going to look for the gaze. So the gaze is not what we think it is. It is not the look, and we should think about the gaze in terms of the way it relates to the look. So the gaze is the point in the visual field where this field takes the subject's look into account, the point at which the subject's desire transforms the structure of the visual field. This distortion in what the subject sees is the gaze.
Tonight, social media juggernaut TikTok is in danger after the president threatens to shut it down. President Trump telling reporters on Air Force One, as far as TikTok is concerned, we're banning it from the United States, citing national security concerns with the Chinese-owned company.
If I left any ambiguity in my previous video on We Wear Cute, I want to reiterate. I think TikTok is unambiguously the most fascinating social media platform available. Anyone who is familiar with the platform, either through personal use or the media frenzy surrounding its supposed banning, likely has strong opinions about the benefits and detriments facing such a ubiquitously popular digital craze. TikTok is different from every other social media in that the primary mode of content is made to appear randomized. That is to say, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Discord, all provide content based on explicit selections of content, such as who you want to follow or to what groups you subscribe, whereas on TikTok, the default mode of consumption is the For You page, a virtually endless stream of content that is not dictated by explicit decisions made by its users, but rather a seemingly omniscient algorithm chooses what you see. With the speed of the news cycle and the chaos of the lead-up and aftermath to the 2020 United States presidential election, it's easy for one of the larger news stories of the late summer to be forgotten: the planned banning of TikTok in the United States.
The U.S. is reportedly weighing a ban on TikTok. In a Fox News interview, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the administration is looking into cracking down on TikTok and other Chinese-owned social media.
Although articles regarding this plan still trickle out, the effort to go through with this proposal has dissolved as the Trump administration transitions out of power. It's important that I bring this up, not only for context, but more importantly, to review the reasons why this ban was suggested and the reaction from the TikTok user base. However, before we get into that, I want to make a quick clarification. This video is not a history lesson on TikTok, but rather a critical look at Jacques Lacan's concept of the gaze, and more specifically, my assertion that out of all forms of social media, there is none more effective at rendering the gaze in the viewer than TikTok. This is in large part due to the invasive and effective algorithm used to curate the For You page. Gaze, as Lacan theorizes, is not easily reducible to a concise definition. This is partially by his own design, as throughout his seminars he gives a variety of different explanations, all of which are inextricably linked to other concepts, such as the real, objet, and the other. However, for the sake of brevity, allow us to utilize a definition from Lacanian scholar Todd McGowan. Gaze is the point at which the distortion caused by the subject's desire becomes visible as a disruption in the visual field. In short, the gaze is nothing but the way the subject's desire deforms what it sees. An element of this story that garnered widespread public attention was from a Reddit commenter who reverse-engineered TikTok to uncover the data the app was tracking. This included, but was not limited to, phone hardware, screen dimensions, other apps that you have installed, everything network-related like IP, router, Wi-Fi access point name, and even GPS pinging. Although TikTok themselves have not stated explicitly that they use all of this to curate the For You page, they have cited some of them as data points in their algorithm. More explicitly, user interaction, such as the videos you like or share, accounts that you follow, comments, what you create, video information like captions, sounds, and hashtags, as well as device and account settings, like language preferences, country setting, and device type. Despite the evidence of large-scale data mining from foreign powers, the overwhelming response from users was a rejection of the ban, with some even saying they plan to leave the country in order to keep using the application.
So as some of you may know, America is thinking of banning TikTok, and that's kind of sad because I am in America. But if it does happen that I do like get banned because America bans it or whatever, then I hope to, as soon as I can, I hope to move to either Canada or Europe, either place. Then hopefully I can regain my account and stuff, but if I'm not able to move, then I just wanted to let you all know that I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and I wanted to thank you for all of your support and love. But yeah, if I can move, if America does decide to ban and I am able to move, I will be back.
It's no surprise that a social media platform with such an invasive algorithm is also one that creates such a devoted fan base. It is in fact imperative for TikTok's ability to render the gaze that it collects as much information as possible. In his piece, Capitalism and Desire, the Psychic Cost of Free Markets, Todd McGowan clarifies, "The encounter with the gaze transforms the subject by creating an awareness in the subject of its role in producing what it sees." The nature of the TikTok algorithm and its ability to create an awareness of the subject's role in producing what it sees is similar to the phenomenon of targeted advertisements. As people spend more time on the application, more data is gathered about the users, and the For You page gets more and more precise with presenting resonant media to its users. The aforementioned transformation is similarly present when being met with an advertisement that matches up exactly with a conversation or Google search the day before. This, in a literal sense, creates an awareness in the subject producing what it sees, i.e., everything online is connected, so it makes sense Instagram showed me an ad for a Bing search I made on Monday for Balenciaga shoes. But more specifically, upon seeing said advertisement, there is a clear, unconscious pull away from the media consumption you were previously engaged in, as the ad explicitly shows you the object of your desire. In this example, big ugly shoes. I recognize that as only one person, it's difficult for me to make such lofty claims about how everybody experiences the application. So for a more robust sample size, let's turn to the comment section. The comment section on TikTok plays a crucial role in understanding how the gaze operates outside of a theoretical framework. That is to say, without the academic vocabulary, how is the gaze acknowledged by those who feel they have had such an encounter? As with any social media app, the comment section provides a window into how the content interacts with its audience. Although not exclusive to TikTok, there are certain mimetic phrases that make their way into the lexicon of the user base that are unique to the medium in which they appear. For example, the now often parodied Reddit comment, "Thanks for the gold, kind stranger." Despite there being countless examples on TikTok, my respect went graph emoji, it's the whatever for me, this one should have stayed in drafts, sis, There's one comment that unconsciously acknowledges the commenter has felt a rendering of the gaze. This comment, of course, is, "They said for you page." The words themselves may show slight variation, but the sentiment is still the same. The viewer expresses an understanding, either comedic or sincere, that the video was resonant with them to the extent that their desire is revealed. I should now quickly clarify the discrepancy between the Lacanian concept of the gaze and its predecessor, Jean-Paul Sartre's idea of the look. Borrowing from Dylan Evans' Dictionary of Lacanian Psychoanalysis, for Sartre,
Jean-Paul Sartre,
the gaze is that which permits the subject to realize that the other is also a subject. My fundamental connection with the other as subject must be able to be referred back to my permanent possibility of being seen by the other. Lacan breaks from this after his theorization of objet petit a, or the object cause of desire. The idea is that it is truly impossible to reach that which you desire, as it will always return you to the same circuitous loop with a new object in its place. To quote Evans once again, whereas Sartre had conflated the gaze with the act of looking, Lacan now separates the two. The gaze becomes the object of the act of looking. To illuminate this discrepancy, allow me to offer an anecdote. Whenever I'm in Boston on my way to work, I get coffee at the same spot, and am often served by the same few people. With the COVID-19 shutdown, I was unable to return to my job in Boston, and thus had not been to my favorite coffee shop in nearly a calendar year. However, I recently made a triumphant return and was being served by a barista who had taken my order dozens of times before the pandemic. She said to me, "Hey, by the way, do you have a TikTok? Over quarantine, a video of you showed up on my For You page." In this moment, I experienced the look. The other, being the barista, is also a subject, capable of seeing me the same way I am capable of seeing her. To utilize terminology from TikTok, I am in fact not the main character. The other does not see me as subject, but rather an other to themselves as the subject. However, for her, the gaze was rendered when I appeared on her For You page. She, as the subject, is confronted with the fact that what she is viewing is influenced by her desire. That is not to say she desired to see me in the colloquial sense, but rather her desire is shaped around the disruption of the visual field in the video. That disruption being me. It is exactly this disruption that is expressed with the comment, "They said for you page." So too is this an overt acknowledgement of the subject's role in producing what it sees. This comment affirms the presence of objet a in the visual field. In fact, even simply the act of watching and interacting with TikTok informs the other TikToks that you will see and further its ability to visually reproduce objects of desire. My final assertion concerning the connection between Lacan's concept of gaze and TikTok is an analogous one, and far less holistic than my previous claims. However, hopefully this can further illuminate gaze on a smaller scale. In Lacan's Seminar 11, the 4 fundamental concepts of psychoanalysis, he makes reference to a 1533 painting by Hans Holbein the Younger. The piece is simply titled The Ambassadors. I would hope the previous section makes clear exactly why this painting is imperative to Lacan's theorization. There is a clear shape protruding from the bottom of the frame, one that draws the viewer in and around which their desire is shaped. I want you all to keep this painting in mind as we dive into what is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most perplexing accounts on TikTok. The pseudo-comedic, pseudo-pornographic stylings of Mason Ray and his girlfriend Layla Lennox.
Yeah, cotton candy popsicle. Berry. Orange.
Layla, no! That was the last popsicle in the world, bro! What am I gonna do?
Yeah, Diet Mountain Dew.
Layla! No! What are you doing, bro? That was the last Diet Mountain Dew in the world, bro!
Crazy Pop Straw. Gummies. Elo.
Layla! No! That was the last ELO in the world, bro!
Their entire video catalog follows this same format. Layla eats food, makes sexy faces, and then Mason arrives from out of the frame with an apocalyptic message confirming that Layla has in fact eaten the last of a certain food in the entire world. Bro. I recognize the seemingly disparate nature of Lacan's invocation of Holbein's painting and mine of Mason Ray. However, I do this only now to showcase one video of his that I would be willing to claim is simply a modernization of the 1533 painting.
Yeah, cherry sucker. Blueberry sucker. Grape sucker.
Layla, no! That was the last sucker in the world, bro! What am I gonna do?
I am willing to wager that you had a similar reaction as the TikTok commenters. You in fact can see him in the mirror. When discussing the ambassadors, Lacan remarks that when you finally realize the object in the foreground is a skull, the subject is annihilated. It is often said of the gaze, and of this painting in particular, that the gaze sees you before you see it. The annihilation of the subject is a result of the media, be it a TikTok or a painting, shaping itself around your desire, and fundamentally understanding how it will be seen by you. What I find most interesting about this particular Mason Ray video, the one of course that features his reflection, is that regardless of whether we see him or not, we know exactly what he's going to do. I will reiterate, without fail, every video on his page follows the same format. While discussing the ambassadors in the Dialectics episode of the podcast Why Theory, Todd McGowan and Ryan Engley touch on a student's question regarding a repeated viewing of the painting.
I had a student ask me about that. I wanted to tell you what I said, but she said to me that, cause the point that I made, I was talking about the picture is like Lacan. One of the things he says is that like this is the point at which your mastery over the image fails, because this sees you before you see it.
Yes.
Like the painting knows you're gonna be drawn here. Like you're gonna be looking. And I had a student come up to me afterwards. She said, well, what about when you've already seen it and you know? She said, because I've seen that painting before, so I know. I don't look there immediately. And my response to her was, I said, like, that actually shows the gaze, that actually shows that point even stronger, because after you know it's there, you have adjusted the way that you're looking. So even though that spot, like you're claiming, like doesn't have power over you as a viewer anymore, it's exerting even more force because you're looking elsewhere. Because you're thinking you're choosing not to pay attention to it when that has actually completely articulated the way that you experience the visual field.
Did she give you a tip?
The same is true in the viewing of Mason Ray's video. There is a necessary adjustment in viewing his media when one attempts to remove themselves from the present gaze. Knowing the twist at the end of each video does not negate the gaze when it appears. In fact, watching Layla eat the last Snickers bar in the world while attempting to disavow the knowledge that Mason will soon jump out consciously forces a recalibration of your viewing, and as such, reinforces the gaze.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening, so we'll see what happens. But we are looking at a lot of alternatives with respect to TikTok.